leaders have inched closer to a compromise deal on a recovery plan during a video conference on Thursday. That's after German Chancellor Angela Merkel pledged to back a huge stimulus package for the bloc. But member states are still split on how to spread the financial strains. France and Spain demand reconstruction is funded via grants from the EU budget, while the Netherlands and Austria are among those insisting this should take the form of loans. Meanwhile, ECB President Christine Lagarde has warned of doing too little too late, as the euro area economy may shrink by as much as 15% this year. The central bank is increasingly expected to step up support for the economy. 1 in 4 economists surveyed by Bloomberg now says the ECB could boost emergency bond buying as early as next week. For more on all of these strands, let's bring into the conversation Maria Tadeo, who joins us now from Brussels. Maria, your thoughts on the EU27? I mean, inching closer in the sense that, yes, something was signed, but the big decisions around just how much debt mutualisation there should be or burden sharing around the bloc, once again, kicked down the road.
Yeah, exactly, Anna. And the reality is we didn't really get anything on paper yesterday. They didn't really commit to any of the specifics, and there's still many question marks in terms of just how big that economic stimulus plan should be and what shape should it take. But nonetheless, there was progress made. Angela Merkel conceded, and I think this is probably a first, in which she said this economic response will have to be huge. We also heard that the head of the European Commission openly said this is not going to be billions. We're going to need trillions for this. And most crucially, the Italians had a very constructive tone yesterday. We could have had a big political meltdown happen over Corona bonds or the lack of. But in fact, the Italian Premier Giuseppe Conte said that he's now seeing good progress. The debate, as you point out, is really now hinging on whether this help should be done in a loan credit. Usually when you take a credit, there is some conditionality. The hawkish countries do want to see what is going to be done with this money, but the countries that are weaker at this point, such as Italy, Spain, they want to see the debt to GDP ratio stay stable, so they want to see transfers. They don't want to come out of this crisis with a huge debt pile.
Yeah, so that's north-south, just to simplify it hugely. It's more complex than that, but the north-south divide over loans versus grants continues. What about the role of the ECB here? We've seen them doing a lot in terms of increasing the range of collateral they accept from banks and indeed a lot of other measures to support the Eurozone economy through this after maybe some early stumbles. Now an expectation that maybe there's more bond buying to come.
Yes, and look, what you're seeing is the European Central Bank is taking quicker but also more aggressive action than the politicians are doing. And Christine Lagarde was in that e-summit that happened yesterday. She told EU leaders that if you don't take quick action, we could see a big contraction in GDP, perhaps 15%, and that is huge. But what you're seeing now is really the ECB taking all the big actions, have now shielded Italy perhaps from a credit rate and downgrade. They're, of course, really buying in the market, but also you have to factor the fact that the Italian and the Spanish Treasury are going to have to issue a lot of new debt in a very short amount of time, and that may trigger calls to increase that PPP program, and that is really what the market is betting on, that Christine Lagarde will have no choice but to actually increase that total sum.